How's it going, people? We actually got a huge update in Save the World today, as well as a home base status report. But before we take a look at it, there were a few things I wanted to take a look at first. They finally fixed Save the World's locker with today's update. It looks like we now have the correct number of columns, and that should make it easier to find the skin you're looking for. The floor glitch has also been patched, so that only lasted about a week. And we also got a sneak peek at the next Save the World starter pack, which is expected to be released on March 19th. And I think a lot of y'all are going to like this one. Apparently, Dr. Vinderman is going to be the skin that's going to be included in it. And this is a skin I've been requesting for years now. And I hate to say it, but I called it. I told you. I told you. I mean, it would have been nice to have seen maybe Desiree or Vinderman as a Save the World starter pack skin. We still have a few Save the World characters that they haven't included in starter packs yet, like Dr. Vinderman. Didn't I tell you? Technically, I did ask for a human version. I wasn't really expecting a robot version, but honestly, I'm happy either way, because now we're going back to getting actual Save the World characters in Save the World starter packs. But I also like this robot version as well. Speaking of the human version, if you zoom in on his name tag, you can actually see what the human version of Dr. Vinderman looks like. And this is the first time in Save the World history we've ever seen what Dr. Vinderman looks like. We've seen his robot version before in previous quest lines, but I don't think we've ever seen the human version of him until today. Not only are we getting Dr. Vinderman, but we're also going to get a Bluglo Backbling. And this is another Backbling we've been requesting for years. And apparently there's also a Flask Basher pickaxe, which you can see here. And that's everything we know of when it comes to the new Save the World starter pack. Definitely one of the best Save the World starter packs we've seen in a while. I'm just glad they're going back to using actual Save the World characters for Save the World starter packs. And I feel like they chose a good one this time. I'm 100% going to be buying this Save the World starter pack. Let me know what you all think about it in the comments below. And again, this starter pack should be available on March 19th. Also, when it comes to everything we got this week, Dashing Hawk returned to the event store. I don't really consider him to be one of the best heroes. If anything, you may just want to get him for your collection book. But Dashing Hawk returned this week, and the Love Song bow also returned this week. Again, wouldn't necessarily consider it to be one of the best bows. I feel like the Vacuum Tube bow and the Xenon bow are better. So whether or not you want to get this is sort of up to you. But that's everything we got in the event store this week. We also got a home base status report today, which I wasn't expecting. It's not like the normal one. This one was posted on Reddit, and I'll leave a link to it in the description if you want to go check it out. But apparently we got a lot of hero balance changes with today's update, as well as some improvements and bug fixes. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at this home base status report. And the first thing they said was, "Hey commanders, today's update focuses on hero balance adjustments to shake up your roster and fixes some of the long-standing issues players have reported. All perk adjustments detailed below affect both the standard perk version and when selected as a commander perk unless otherwise specified." Let's take a look. Hero balance changes. First up, we have Cloak Shadow. Apparently they increased the corrupted aura's base damage. When it comes to Stare Down Southie, they reduced the time between shots for Bear Stare, so that should trigger more often now. Apparently Fireflower Eagle Eye also got a buff today. They increased the base damage of the fireworks for Departing Gift commander perk. When it comes to Triceratops Ramirez, they decreased the time between heals for Saurian Vigor, so you don't have to wait as long. When it comes to Black Knight Garridan, the Knight's Impact perk will now also reduce the cooldown of Going Constructor for each kill with hardware weapons. So you should be able to use your Going Constructor a little more often with Black Knight Garridan. Red Willow also got a buff. They increased the base damage of her Holiday Surprise, so whenever you phase shift, it should deal more damage now. Sentinel Hype also got a buff. They increased the duration for the decoy even more after today's update. When it comes to Warden Kyle, his base is going to provide increased base health regeneration, so you should get more health from his base. It's also going to provide energy regeneration, which it used to not do before, so it should help you be more useful when it comes to nature enemies. And it's also going to have a heal over time effect that will now persist for a few seconds after stepping away from the base structure. So even if you're not standing directly on it, you'll still be getting healed for a few seconds after. I kind of actually want to test some of these heroes out, by the way, so we may do some reviews this week. Venturian also got a buff. His blast kick now deals increased base damage, and its damage type is now energy, and the standard version of the blast kick perk now also fires all 5 projectiles. So his standard and commander perk both got buffed. They also buffed Prickly Patroller Ramirez's perk. They increased the overall damage of Prickly, so whenever enemies attack you, they'll take more damage now. And the standard version of Prickly now also gives enemies affliction damage over time, similar to the commander version of the perk. So whether she's in your support team or not, you'll still be able to get that affliction damage from her Prickly perk. And the last one we're going to take a look at are the changes they made to Blakebeard. And I think out of all of the hero changes they made, this one's probably going to be the one people like the least. Apparently peg legs break faster now, and they will more closely match the power level of the current mission, and only 6 can be held at a time. So before we used to be able to hold an unlimited amount of peg legs. They had a much higher power level, which made them more useful, and they also didn't used to break as quickly as they do now. So peg legs aren't going to be as good as before. Also, if you open a chest while already holding 6 peg legs, a bonus cannonball grenade and coconut will drop instead. So instead of getting a 7th peg leg, you'll just get more cannonballs and coconuts instead. They also reduced the number of coconuts and cannonball grenades that drop from Blakebeard's stash, and they also limited how many can be held at once. And for those who are wondering, the most you can hold when it comes to coconuts and cannonballs is 8 of each. I think before we could have like dozens at least. So they did put a cap on those as well. And the Blakebeard stash chest will now despawn after 1 minute, so it's not going to stick around for the entire match. They then went on to say moment-to-moment gameplay with Blakebeard stash should feel largely the same. Grab a bag of fun items falling out of enemies to keep your damage and health high, while not reducing the challenge of missions at lower difficulties. As part of this change, we have also added an option for players to refund their resources invested into their current Blakebeard if they wish. So Blakebeard's not going to be as useful as he used to be, mainly because they lowered the power level of the peg legs that you get. They reduced the number of them that you can hold on to at once. Same thing with cannonballs and coconuts. They reduced the cap for those as well. And the chests are going to despawn after 1 minute, so you're going to have to pick them up as soon as you see them. Otherwise, you'll miss out on their loot. But yeah, out of all of the hero changes they made today, this one's probably the worst one. I feel like with a lot of the other ones, they got buffed, but it definitely feels like Blakebeard got nerfed. If y'all would like us to review any of these heroes that had some changes made, be sure to let us know in the comments below. And the last thing we're going to take a look at are the improvements and bug fixes. They separated the filter and sort selections for perk loadouts. You can choose between current, auto sort, or new sort alphabetically. The contender now properly stuns enemies, and the stun has been increased to persist for a short time after enemies have been knocked back. The Primal Shotgun's Frenzy perk for eliminating a Mist Monster now persists after switching weapons. Bull Rush now more consistently grabs husks that are very close to you. They also fixed an issue where the Headshot Explosion perk was not working as intended for some weapons. The Structure Healing perk now works correctly for traps, which honestly I didn't even know it wasn't working. And downed Chrome Husks no longer attach themselves to a player when heavy attacking them with Sir Lancelot. That's another bug I'm pretty sure that was already fixed. We actually tried to do that a couple of weeks ago and it didn't work. But that sums up everything that was in the home base status report. I'm actually really excited for the new Save the World starter pack. I'm also looking forward to trying out these heroes after today's update. The only thing I didn't really like was the changes they made to Blakebeard's stash. But let me know what you think about today's update in the comments below. Also, before I go, I did want to give a huge shout out to everybody who's been using creator code A1, and just wanted to give a friendly reminder that it resets every 2 weeks, so you may have to put it back in there. But I think we're going to stream on Twitch today. We're going to try some fishing and Lego, and we're also going to try to test out some of these new heroes and save the world. So hopefully I'll see you there. Anyways, I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and thanks for watching.